At 800 meters below the ocean's surface, the last traces of sunlight are disappearing. At 6,000 meters, the abyss ends and the Hadal zone begins. And near 11,000 meters, the pressure is so extreme that ordinary machinery can collapse like a crushed can. Today, we are ranking 15 of the strangest deep-sea creatures by the deepest reliable record scientists have documented. Some records come from direct video, others come from collected specimens or established scientific depth ranges. Uncertain claims have been left out. And by number 1, we will meet a small scavenger found almost 11 kilometers down that appears to protect itself with a metal-rich shield. Before we begin the descent, like the video and subscribe to WildWonders for more journeys into the animal world. Number 15. The barrel-eye fish. Deepest documented range, 800 meters. The first creature on our list can see through its own forehead. The barrel-eye fish is only about 15 centimeters long, but its head looks like a transparent cockpit. Inside that clear, fluid-filled dome are two bright green, tube-shaped eyes. The dark spots that appear to be its eyes in many photographs are actually its nostril-like sensory organs. Its real eyes are the green structures hidden farther back inside the head. For decades, scientists believed those tubular eyes were locked in an upward position. That would allow the fish to search for silhouettes above it, but it would also make eating anything directly in front of its mouth incredibly difficult. Observations by deep-sea vehicles revealed the solution. The eyes rotate. They point upward while the fish searches for prey, then swing forward when it is ready to feed. Researchers think the green eyes may filter faint surface light, making bioluminescent animals easier to detect. The fish may also steal prey trapped by drifting siphonophores. The reason this feature remained hidden for so long is simple. The dome is extremely delicate. When barrel eyes were dragged to the surface in nets, the transparent shield was often damaged or destroyed. Early scientists were studying a creature whose most extraordinary feature had already vanished. At 800 meters, pressure is roughly 80 times greater than at the surface. But our next animal has been found almost twice as deep, and it looks like a shark designed by someone who had only heard rumors about sharks. Number 14. The frilled shark. Deepest documented range, 1,500 meters. The frilled shark has the body of an eel, the head of a prehistoric reptile, and a mouth lined with rows of three-pointed teeth. It can grow to around 2 meters long, yet it looks very different from the streamlined sharks most people recognize. Its mouth sits at the front of the head rather than underneath it. 6 pairs of gill slits create the reddish, frilled appearance that gives the species its name, and its long, flexible body allows it to move through the darkness with an almost snake-like motion. Those strange teeth are not built for cutting large chunks of flesh. Each one has long, narrow points that form a trap for slippery prey. Once a squid enters that mouth, escaping through the forest of backward-facing spikes would be extremely difficult. Stomach content records also show that frilled sharks can eat fish and other cartilaginous animals. The species has been documented from about 120 to 1,500 meters, although it is more commonly encountered between roughly 500 and 1,000. It is often called a living fossil, but it has not remained unchanged. It is a modern shark carrying an unusually ancient-looking body plan. Yet the frilled shark is no longer the deepest bizarre shark on this list. A record published in 2026 pushed another species hundreds of meters farther into the dark. Number 13. The goblin shark. Deepest confirmed observation, 1,997 meters. The goblin shark is famous for a jaw that can launch forward from its skull. But until recently, almost everything scientists knew about living individuals came from sharks caught on fishing lines and brought toward the surface. They rarely survived, and nobody had obtained clear observations of one calmly moving through its natural deep ocean habitat. That changed with 2 Central Pacific sightings described in a 2026 study. One was recorded near Jarvis Island at 1,237 meters. The second was captured by a baited camera on the slope of the Tonga Trench at exactly 1,997 meters. That deeper encounter lasted only a little more than 20 seconds. To understand how rare that is, the expedition recorded more than 50 days of continuous footage between 800 and 10,800 meters. Out of all that darkness, the goblin shark appeared for seconds. The observation extended the species' known depth by roughly 700 meters and set a new depth record for the shark order that also includes great whites, makos, and thresher sharks. Its long, flattened snout is packed with sensors that can detect tiny electrical signals produced by living prey. When something comes close enough, ligaments and muscles allow the jaws to shoot forward with startling speed. In slow motion, it looks less like a bite and more like the shark is throwing its entire mouth at the target. Goblin sharks are the only living members of a family whose fossil history reaches back roughly 125 million years. The new footage finally showed one alive and undisturbed in the habitat where it belongs. From this point onward, recognizable sharks disappear from the ranking. The next creature is not a monster from prehistory. It is a garden pillbug, scaled up and dropped 2 kilometers into the ocean.
Number 12. The giant isopod. Deepest documented range, 2,140 meters. A giant isopod is a crustacean closely related to the small woodlice and pillbugs found under rocks on land. The family resemblance is obvious. It has a flattened body, overlapping armored plates, multiple pairs of legs, and a face that somehow looks both alien and mildly annoyed. The difference is size. While a backyard pillbug can sit on a fingernail, giant isopods can grow to tens of centimeters long. This is deep-sea gigantism, a pattern in which some deep-water animals become much larger than shallow-water relatives. Scientists have proposed several explanations, but no single one fits every species. Giant isopods have been recorded from about 170 to 2,140 meters, usually on muddy or clay seafloors. They are primarily scavengers. A dead fish, squid, or whale fragment sinking from above can become an enormous opportunity in a habitat where meals are unpredictable. They can eat heavily when food appears, then survive extraordinarily long gaps between meals behind protective armored plates. At 2,140 meters, the pressure is more than 200 times surface pressure. Yet the giant isopod still looks heavily armored and solid. The next animal survives the same general world using the opposite strategy. Its body becomes a living storage bag. Number 11. The black swallower. Deepest documented range, 2,745 meters. The black swallower is only about 25 centimeters long. Its prey does not always get that memo. This fish has a hinged skull, flexible jaws, and an extremely expandable stomach. Together, those features allow it to swallow fish much larger than its own body. The victim can remain visible through the stretched wall of the abdomen, turning the predator into a small black head attached to a giant fish-shaped balloon. Where meals are rare, refusing oversized prey can be more dangerous than attempting it. But this adaptation can become a fatal mistake. Sometimes the swallowed prey is simply too large to digest quickly. As the meal begins to decompose inside the stomach, gases can accumulate. Those gases make the fish buoyant, lifting it out of the deep sea and carrying it all the way to the surface. Some of the specimens humans have found were discovered floating with an enormous, partially digested meal still inside them. So the black swallower can survive nearly 3 kilometers down, yet it may be defeated by eating too successfully. Its established depth range extends from around 700 to 2,745 meters. At the lower end, sunlight has been absent for a very long time, and an animal cannot depend on seeing the world clearly. Our next creature solves that problem by almost abandoning vision altogether. Even stranger, its babies, males and females, once fooled scientists into classifying them as 3 different families of fish. Number 10. The whalefish. Deepest documented range, 3,500 meters. Whalefish are not whales. Most are around 20 centimeters long, and their name comes from the broad body and oversized mouth of the adult female. In the midnight zone, however, appearance changes drastically with age and sex. Young whalefish are called tape-tails. They have upturned mouths and long streaming tails. Adult males were historically called big-nose fish because they possess enlarged nasal organs. Adult females develop into the round-bodied, wide-mouthed form known as whalefish. The three forms looked so unrelated that scientists placed them in three separate fish families. Only detailed anatomy and genetic evidence revealed the truth. Tape-tails are the larvae, big-nose fish are the males, whalefish are the females. One animal had been hiding across three sections of the classification system. The adult female's eyes are tiny and poorly developed. They lack lenses capable of forming normal images. Instead, the fish carries a network of enlarged sensory pores across its head and body. Those pores detect vibrations and movement in the surrounding water, allowing it to sense prey and danger in total darkness. Its bright red color is also camouflage. Red wavelengths disappear quickly in seawater, so at these depths, a red animal appears almost black. Whalefish are documented between about 1,500 and 3,500 meters. They are so difficult to observe alive that, after more than 27,000 hours of deep-sea video, Mbari had logged only 16 encounters.
Number 9. The humpback black sea devil. Deepest reported range, 4,500 meters. This is the face most people imagine when they hear the words deep-sea monster. A round black body, needle-like teeth, and a luminous lure hanging in front of a mouth that seems far too large. But the famous monster is the female, and she is much smaller than the camera makes her look. A female humpback black sea devil reaches only about 18 centimeters. The male grows to less than 3 centimeters and has no glowing lure. The female's fishing apparatus is a modified fin spine, tipped with a light-producing organ. In the darkness, that glow can draw curious prey within striking distance. Her soft body, flexible stomach, large head, and sharp teeth are all part of the same deep-sea strategy. Spend as little energy as possible, then do not waste a rare feeding opportunity. The species has a reported depth range from about 100 to 4,500 meters, although most records are far shallower, generally between 100 and 1,500 meters. That distinction matters. A maximum depth tells us what the animal has apparently survived, not where it spends most of its life. At its reported maximum, pressure approaches 450 atmospheres. The true world of the black sea devil is the cold darkness below. The next fish chooses a different lifestyle. It goes to the bottom, unfolds 3 stilts, and waits.
Number 8. The tripod fish. Deepest documented range, 4,720 meters. The tripod fish looks as if evolution tried to turn a fish into a piece of furniture. 3 fin rays grow into extraordinarily long supports, 2 beneath the body and 1 extending from the tail. When the fish reaches the seafloor, it plants these rays in the sediment and stands above the bottom like a camera on a tripod. It normally faces into the current. Rather than wasting energy chasing prey through the abyss, it waits for small crustaceans and other animals to drift toward it. Long pectoral fin rays act as sensitive feelers, detecting movement and helping guide food toward the mouth. This sit-and-wait strategy makes sense at depths where every calorie matters. Swimming continuously would burn energy in an environment that may not provide enough food to replace it. Tripod fish are simultaneous hermaphrodites. In a habitat where neighbors may be extremely distant, carrying both male and female reproductive tissue makes a compatible encounter far more likely. The species has been recorded from about 878 to 4,720 meters, where it stands in permanent darkness under nearly 500 atmospheres of pressure. From here, the descent enters a level where even the most terrifying-looking fish become surprisingly small. The next one has teeth so long that its skull needs built-in storage spaces
just to close its mouth. Number 7. The common fangtooth. Deepest documented range, about 5,000 meters. The fangtooth looks enormous in close-up photographs. In reality, an adult reaches only around 17 centimeters. Its head is oversized, its skin is dark and rough, and its lower jaw carries 2 teeth so long that they would pierce the roof of the mouth if the skull were shaped normally. Instead, the fangs slide into special pockets when the jaws close. Those teeth are not just decoration. At depth, a predator may detect prey only when it is already close. The fangtooth needs a bite that is difficult to escape because it may not receive a second attempt. The species is most common between roughly 500 and 2,000 meters, but records extend to about 5,000. Juvenile fangtooths look so different from adults that early naturalists describe them as a separate species. The young are lighter and carry long head spines before developing the adult monster-like form. At 5 kilometers down, pressure is about 500 times greater than at the surface. We have reached the abyssal plain, but not yet the Hadal trenches. The next entry crosses that boundary, and despite the famous images associated with its species, the individual that set the record did not yet have the full nightmare anatomy. Number 6. The bigfin squid. Deepest confirmed observation, 6,212 meters. Adult-like bigfin squid are among the most alien animals ever filmed. Their arms and tentacles extend outward from the body, bend sharply at what look like elbows, and then trail downward as impossibly thin filaments. In some videos, the animal resembles a floating puppet suspended from strings. Scientists still do not know exactly how those filaments are used. The animal's feeding behavior has never been clearly witnessed. The depth record came from the Philippine Trench. During a crude submersible dive, a solitary bigfin squid was filmed close to the seafloor at 6,212 meters. It became the first squid ever reliably recorded in the Hadal zone and extended the known maximum depth for any squid by 1,477 meters. But here is the important correction. The record holder had an estimated mantle length of only about 10 centimeters. The famous, extremely long terminal filaments were not obvious in the footage. They may have been contracted, or the squid may have been too young to develop them fully. So the deepest squid ever seen was probably not the towering, long-armed phantom shown in the most viral photographs. It was likely a juvenile from the same mysterious family. If young bigfin squid can live beyond 6 kilometers, deeper individuals may still be waiting in unexplored trenches. At 6,212 meters, we are officially inside the Hadal zone. Yet the next creature adds almost another half kilometer and can trail mouth arms about as long as a city bus. Number 5. The giant phantom jelly. Deepest documented range, 6,700 meters. The giant phantom jelly looks less like an animal and more like a red curtain moving through space. Its bell can grow more than 1 meter across. Beneath it hang 4 broad, ribbon-like oral arms that can exceed 10 meters in length. These are not ordinary tentacles arranged in a neat ring. They are enormous folded structures connected to the mouth, billowing and twisting as the jelly moves through the water. Despite its size, it is remarkably elusive. Mbari's vehicles completed thousands of dives and recorded it only 9 times. The first specimen was collected in 1899, but the species was not recognized until roughly 60 years later. Its documented range reaches 6,700 meters. One of the most fascinating observations involved a small fish swimming beside the jelly, moving above its bell and in and out of the giant oral arms. In the open midwater, where caves, plants, and rocks do not exist, the jelly may function as mobile shelter. What looks like a monster to us can become a refuge for another animal. Scientists still know very little about its feeding or life cycle. Its rarity and footage shows how little of the midwater world our vehicles actually sample. But the next record was not a vague net capture or an estimated range. A camera watched the animal move, forage, and briefly pick up another creature almost 7 kilometers below the surface. Number 4. The Dumbo octopus. Deepest confirmed observation, 6,957 meters. The name Dumbo octopus sounds adorable, and compared with the creatures around it, the animal almost is. 2 large fins rise from its head like ears. A web connects its arms, and it can move with slow, controlled pulses that make it appear to fly above the sea floor. In 2019, baited camera landers recorded finned octopuses in the Java Trench at 5,760 meters, and then at 6,957 meters. The deeper animal was about 35 centimeters in total length and appeared healthy and active. The water around it was only about 1.5 degrees Celsius. The camera did more than capture a silhouette. It watched the octopus forage across the soft sediment. At one point, the animal picked up an isopod, roughly 3 centimeters long, held it for a few seconds, and dropped it before moving away. That behavior proved this was not a body sinking from above or an animal caught inside a net. It was a living cephalopod behaving normally on the Hadal seafloor. The observation extended the reliable maximum depth for cephalopods by 1,812 meters. Because seafloor area decreases rapidly in the deepest trenches, reaching approximately 7 kilometers means that finned octopuses could theoretically access about 99% of the global seafloor. At this depth, pressure approaches 700 atmospheres. The octopus has no swim bladder or rigid shell, and its soft body contains few spaces that pressure can compress. And now the ranking changes completely. The top 3 are deeper than any confirmed squid, octopus, jelly, shark, or fangtooth on this list. The next entry is the deepest fish ever seen. Numbers 2 and 1 are both shrimp-like crustaceans, and the winner lives almost 2 kilometers deeper than the runner-up. Number 3, the record-breaking snailfish. Deepest confirmed observation, 8,336 meters. At 8,336 meters in the Izu Ogasawara Trench south of Japan, a baited camera filmed a tiny pale fish moving above the seafloor. It was an unidentified species in the snailfish genus Pseudoliparis, and it set the deepest confirmed record for any living fish. The record holder was not a giant adult. It was a single, extremely small juvenile. Unlike many fish, deep-living snailfish can place their juveniles at the deepest edge of the population's range. A few days after the record footage, scientists working in the nearby Japan Trench collected 2 snailfish at 8,022 meters. Those animals, identified as Pseudoliparis belliaevi, became the first fish ever physically collected from deeper than 8,000 meters. Snailfish are soft, pale, and tadpole-shaped. That softness is an advantage under pressure. They have few compressible spaces, lightly built bones, and no gas-filled swim bladder. Marine fish accumulate a molecule called TMAO, which helps stabilize proteins as pressure rises. Deeper fish generally need more of it, but excessive concentrations create other physiological problems. A leading hypothesis, therefore, predicts a practical bony fish limit near 8,200 to 8,400 meters. The 8,336 meter record sits almost exactly inside that boundary. The deepest fish is therefore not merely a record holder. It may be swimming at the edge of what fish physiology allows. But the next creature passes that boundary by nearly 600 meters, and it was long treated as a rare ocean giant. A major 2025 analysis suggested that it may actually occupy more than half of the world's oceans. Number 2, the supergiant amphipod. Deepest documented record, 8,931 meters. Alicella gigantea is the largest known amphipod in the world. Amphipods are usually small, shrimp-like crustaceans, but this species can grow to roughly 34 centimeters long. In the deep ocean, that makes it a true supergiant. Its pale, segmented body, large antennae,
and strong limbs are built for scavenging in darkness. For years, scattered specimens made the supergiant appear exceptionally rare. But a rare sample can simply mean an enormous habitat is almost impossible to survey. A global synthesis published in 2025 assembled 195 records from 75 locations. It placed the species between 3,890 and 8,931 meters, and suggested that suitable habitat could cover around 59% of the world's oceans. The largest amphipod may therefore be widespread, yet almost invisible to humans because we have barely searched its world. Its deepest record is 595 meters below the deepest confirmed fish. At that point, pressure is close to 900 atmospheres, and the seafloor lies deeper than Mount Everest is tall. Yet even Alicella gigantea does not reach number 1. The final creature was collected at 10,929 meters in the Challenger Deep. It survives roughly 1,100 atmospheres of pressure, can digest plant material that falls from the world above, and appears to manufacture a protective aluminium-rich coating from the sediment around it.
Number 1. Hirondelia gigas. Deepest confirmed collection, 10,929 meters. The deepest monster in this ranking is not a colossal squid, a giant shark, or a glowing predator. It is a small amphipod. Hirondelia gigas is a pale, shrimp-like scavenger that lives in the Hadal trenches. Scientists collected specimens from 10,929 meters in the east pond of the Challenger Deep, one of the deepest places in the entire ocean. At that depth, the pressure is around 1,100 times the atmospheric pressure at sea level, or roughly 16,000 pounds per square inch. Mount Everest could be placed on the seafloor and still have more than 2 kilometers of water above its summit. The environment is cold, dark, and poor in food, but the amphipod possesses biochemical tools built for the trench. Researchers discovered that it produces a unique cellulase, an enzyme capable of breaking down cellulose from sunken plant and wood debris. Laboratory work found that this enzyme remained effective under pressure and temperature conditions resembling the Challenger Deep. Then, scientists found something even stranger on the animal's exoskeleton: aluminium. The amphipod appears able to extract aluminum ions from sediment. In seawater, those ions can form an aluminum hydroxide gel that coats the animal and may help protect its calcium-rich exoskeleton. The deepest creature on our list survives through scavenging, pressure-adapted chemistry, wood-digesting enzymes, and a metal-rich shield assembled from the seafloor itself. And that is the real twist of the deep ocean. As we descended, the animals did not become endlessly larger or more violent. Sharks disappeared. Squid and octopuses reached their limits. Fish stopped near 8,400 meters. The final 2 positions belonged to crustaceans, and the winner was a relatively small scavenger with extraordinary molecular adaptations. Depth does not reward the animal that looks most terrifying. It rewards the body that keeps functioning after almost everything familiar has failed. These records can still change. Much of the deep ocean has never been filmed, and a single future expedition could extend one of these ranges or reveal an animal no one has ever described. Which creature on this descent surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments, and for more wildlife rankings, ocean mysteries, and encounters with the planet's strangest animals, like the video and subscribe to WildWonders.